All right. Hello, ladies. This is my first time doing a live. Unfortunately, this is a little bit shaky just because I've been having the weirdest issues with YouTube lately, actually, from my computer trying to upload the videos. So I decided to come live and record this message for you. I am a transformational and intuitive love coach for amazing women leaders and trailblazers from all over the world. Women who are committed to live their best love life possible and ever, their epic love life. And as you know, as an intuitive love coach, I receive a lot of information that I wanted to share. Other than being I have this like really unique and interesting way of seeing things. So today I wanted to share with you what to do if your love manifestations are short-lived. And this is for the audience that I work with, which is mostly women. And if you're new to my channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you get in for like the immediate notification as soon as I upload a video, especially because I've been having some sort of issues lately and some of you have not been getting the notification. So if you hit that bell, you will know, okay? So ladies, make sure you watch this video until the very end. I'm going to be sharing some truth bombs today. As a channeler, as an intuitive, I work with the angels of love, and I receive a lot of information from the angels. And here's the interesting thing about this. I don't think I've ever like fully bluntly like said it like that, but it's important because I'm going to share with you a little bit about my journey, you know, my love journey, and what I feel like made the biggest difference, and what I feel is happening for a lot of women out there that want to manifest an epic love, but for some reason they're manifesting certain things, or they're manifesting short-lived experiences, meaning they start to notice men noticing them or showing up for them. They start to notice men starting to ask them on dates, but then they haven't really manifested or reached yet to the level where, you know, they attract the real thing. And I know that everybody in my community, a lot of women are just doing so many different amazing things to attract their ideal partner. And I, you know, applaud you for that. I know what a courageous step that is. And I believe in you, and I know that you're in the right place. Okay, so I know that you're working on it. So what I notice is that there are some things that are necessary in order for your manifestations to really last when it comes to love. And it's you want to have trustworthy manifestations that reflect the consciousness of the world, that reflect the trustworthiness of life, of mother earth, like nature, life, God, the universe, however you want to call it. There's a specific level of trustworthiness where all of us as human beings, we trust that we can breathe in any given moment. We're not worried in, you know, most scenarios, that if we are able to breathe in the second moment. And just like that, life has a specific level of trustworthiness, meaning you breathe in and like you inhale and you exhale. And in that trustworthiness, we're all meant to give. And so, you know, we're all meant to give, we're all meant to receive, and it's natural. So you put out and you receive back always, right? Now, I had to really grasp that in order to understand that if you want love, it's gonna come to you, right? Now, here's the thing. When it comes to our embodiment, when it comes to the feminine, we want to embody that thing that we seek. And one of the biggest gaps that happens for women, and hello, if you're there, let me know if you're there, because I'm seeing that there's some people here. The thing is that we want to look at trustworthy manifestations. How do you make your manifestations last? Well, first, I want to say the following. As a feminine being, you're not meant to try to get a man to choose you or to stay with you. Your real work in your feminine energy first starts with you having a clear and trustworthy energy and embodiment of your femininity in the first place. And from there, a devoted sense and openness to learn about the real divine masculine. And from that space, know how to open up your energy to that union and that level of intimacy. So, first, you want to have a very clear embodiment of your feminine energy, and it needs to be a trustworthy embodiment of your feminine energy. And the second aspect then is opening up with a clear, open heart to the divine masculine, having a humble heart to really understand the divine masculine rather than letting fear or untrustworthy energy cloud your judgment and even cloud what you attract in your love life, okay? So why am I referring to trustworthy energy when it comes to the divine feminine, and why that is important? What is trustworthy energy for the divine feminine? Well, and really take this to heart in every day, because I feel like sometimes when we talk about spiritual things, we can make them really spiritual and really, really up there, but they actually have a deep impact in our psyche and in what happens in our everyday life. So trustworthy energy of the divine feminine means having a very clear, well-being based energy of worth at a sexual level, at a physical level in your body, at an emotional level, right? As well, having really healthy, kind, loving thoughts with yourself. It also means having mental well-being as well, like having really clear thoughts about it as well, about who you are as a woman, about your worth, having peace about it, having peace with your relationship with other women. And it also means at a spiritual level, having an openness to look at your stuff and actively and responsibly choose to embody responsibility and willingness. And this is where it gets actually quite tricky. In other terms, or in other ways of explaining it, what I notice that happens is the following. Trustworthy energy. The psyche and the consciousness of the feminine is riddled by a couple of things, right? There's a lot of confusion in the psyche of the feminine. And especially now with social media, with so many different voices telling you how to be feminine, how to speak for yourself, how to speak for your rights, and all these things, which is wonderful. And at the same time, there's a lot of confusion. Sometimes because a voice is the loudest doesn't mean that it's actually telling you the truth. So what happens is that we all as feminine beings know that we have intuition. But if we have certain elements of fear in our energy, survival energies, meaning I have to protect myself from the masculine, I have to do this, I am not safe, I am not worthy. If you are questioning, for example, your worth, or if you're good enough, and not because there's nothing wrong with that, it's just there's so much in the psyche of the feminine, and we are so open and receptive to it all, and we've been for so many years that sometimes we don't know even how to embody our own energy to begin with. So what happens is you're trying to be yourself, but then maybe your mom had some survival energies around love that were kind of toxic, or some energies around the feminine that were kind of toxic or wrong, and you pick that up because you were so open to your mom as you were little. It's like, oh, what is one of the first things that we say when we were kids? Like, I want to be just like my mom. So if your mom starts to tell you, you have to be the best, you have to beat everyone, you have to be the best. Oh, I'm so I'm so disappointed in you. Why weren't you better? Or she starts telling you all these things like, I love you when you get good grades. These sort of things are survival based, that are image based. You start getting really confused. The same, what if your mom didn't have a good relationship with your dad, and you started to pick up on that energy too? So one of the first things that happens in regards to having a trustworthy feminine embodiment of, a trustworthy embodiment of your femininity, of who you are as a soul here, is you want to really get and grasp that because of those interactions, whether it was because of your mom or what you saw around you, you started to pick up energies. I have to compete. I have to be better. You find safety, quote unquote, safety in believing that if you're better than another woman, then you're good. I mean, and here's where we're going to start bursting some of these bubbles. And it's like, is it really true that if you're better than another person, then that means that you're safe? In reality, we all have seen this. You feel better than another woman, but then you fear that there's another woman out there that is better than you. So how can you have, like, I'm going to say certain statements, but I want you to understand what's really happening here in regards to you embodying your intuition and really opening up to attract your divine masculine. The universe supports wholehearted, wholesome energy requests and your willingness to embody that energy as well. When you ask a request of the universe out of an energy of lack, out of an energy of, let's put it this way, out of an energy of like seeking fame, validation, power, trying to get a man or trying to attract a man from that angle. Or if I attract a man, then I'm going to be safe and people are going to talk, good about me. Or if it's because what people are going to say, those energies reflect a lack consciousness, right? And these are like chips. I'm starting to see them like when you have a computer and somebody inserts like a disc, or I'm going way old school, but like a disc or something that is infiltrating you, right? That is not good. Basically, you have this chip and you have it with you all of your life. Some of these things are very unconscious and they're actually really programmed in the psyche of the feminine that it clouds your judgment. Therefore, like manifestation always, and this is something that I do, right? Because one of the things that I do with my clients is kind of like a process of alchemy. I help them really really be in that space of alchemy in their love life. And in order for you to have like proper alchemy, it's like you need to have a willingness, to release certain like a specific material and turn it into a different one. It's a willingness, it's an openness of your heart and your soul. So what happens is that you have all these like faulty ideas about who you need to be in order to be loved, in order to get recognition, in order to do this, in order to be this thing. And then what happens is it's faulty, right? The foundation is not strong. It represents lack. It represents sometimes greed. It represents so many different things. And I promise you, I'm not judging you. Like, I'm saying it because it needs to be said. And I need to tell you what's the truth because I've seen it all. I've seen it all throughout the many years as a love coach. I've seen it all. And I really want to help the psyche of the feminine really get this. It represents like the consciousness of what you're vibrating and what you ask. If it comes from lack, if it comes from greed, if it comes from a desire of power, or if it comes from a doubt of your worth and you're needing an external validation on the outside, then you're not fully trusting yourself in that place, claiming fully that energy that you are the prize, you are the gift, you are the goddess. And from a lack of trust in your power or in yourself, what happens fully, not totally there, but like there's little gaps. And I'm talking to really confident women here, really confident women that are rocking it in their careers, in their businesses, and in all areas of their life, but there's a gap in their love life. I'm bringing this up because when it comes to love, it's like you can't escape your energy. What's really sometimes unconscious. A lot of our ideas of love were born or formed when we were very little, when our minds were really like in oh my gosh, my main language is English and Spanish. So it's like our minds were, in Spanish is impresionables. Basically, like you're so open and you have certain ideas that are wrong, they're faulty. So you have to admit that, because if you know this and you tell me, Nicole, I know this, then you continue to seek your manifestation from that angle, or you say, Nicole, there's nothing that I can do about that and it's just what it is, these faulty ideas have the power of getting in the way of what you want to attract in your love life. We have faulty ideas as women around our confidence that makes us fragile. I was going to do this. I'm planning to do this whole training on the fragility of, like, or I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, of the feminine. Like, we seek confidence in external things, in looking a specific way or doing all these things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are some of these aspects that get in the way of the love that you attract because they get in the way of having true confidence. And one of the things that my angels told me, one of the first messages that my angels told me was, Nicole, do you know the difference of what is real confidence versus fake confidence? And they said, real confidence is when you don't care what people think about you. Fake confidence is when you think about it a lot and you mold yourself to it. So when we look and we start to understand some of the faulty ideas that we have as women that makes us sort of shaky, and I'm going to give you some examples now so that you can start guiding yourself. And there's more. There's nothing wrong with that, but we need to work on it. Like, that's the thing that I want to bring up, because these are actually like the silent killers of a lot of relationships, or that make women attract either, partners that are kind of selfish, they're ghosters, like they're doing all these things. But I want you to see what's happening. In the reality, we as women are lying to ourselves a lot. We're lying to ourselves a lot, and we're not willing to look at the places where we get to shift or change our energy. So what I notice that happens is the following. You start working on your feminine energy. You start understanding more about feminine energy. And then next thing you know, you start reading up more about pleasure and receiving and embodying your pleasure and your sexual goddess energy. All of that is awesome. And then you go out there and you start noticing all these men are noticing you and they're showing up, and all of that is great. Awesome. But then you notice that you're not keeping their attention for long. How does that make you feel? Or the relationships fizzle out. Or even if you're attracting a better sort of type of guy, you're kind of looking back to a guy that doesn't really want you. Why is that? Then you move into learning about, your emotional maturity and manifestation, and you start exploring aspects of your heart. That is a good thing too, as well. You want to look at that, and it's important that you do your work on the healing aspects of your heart, because it's important that all of your energy centers, that all the aspects of you as a soul are seeking to embody that wholeness, that understanding that you are more than enough, that it's safe for you to receive love, that you're worthy of love. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say here. So you work on it on the matters of your heart. But you want to know what's the one aspect that I see that gets in the way of most women? The biggest one. And it's the one that I understand why it happens, and it's the spiritual side and an aspect of who we are, okay? This is like the biggest piece, the most transcendental piece that you're going to see so much shifts on, because what happens is that, I'm trying to find the best way to explain this. It's like you're mastering on a level the aspect of your sensuality, right? Like, you know that you can attract a man with your senses. You know that. An area where there's a little bit of doubt is the heart, right? It's like, oh my God, there's a lot of fear in the heart. Like, am I going to be enough? Or you know that you're enough, but am I going to meet a man that is worthy of me, or that is going to show up for me? You might know that you're enough, you might know that you're worthy, but you doubt that you can attract the other side of it, right? Like a man that's going to really show up for you. But on a spiritual level, what happens is that we need, as a feminine being, in order to attract the divine masculine, we need to learn how to have a surrendered heart to our spiritual side and to what life and the universe is saying to us. And this is so key. Like, this is like, it makes it or breaks it. Okay, like it will make it or break it. If you have fears right from your root chakra, from the body area of not trusting men, or fear of who you are as a woman and knowing whether you're enough, and that faulty energy either leads you to control, or it leads you to hide, or it leads you to a place of lack of trust in your energy, what happens, the following thing is that when source, God, life tells you, hey, like, you want real love, you want your divine masculine, you got to open up to that level of trust. What happens then? Do you resist? Do you have a need to be right? And one of the things that I noticed that happens a lot for the divine feminine, or for the feminine in general, is a need to be right. A need to be right about your pain, keeping yourself in the same place, and only staying within your comfort zone. So all of these things, all these faulty energies that show up from women, I'm going to mention a few of them. I notice that these are survival tendencies that we learn, but survival energy for a lot of women leads to control, meaning a lack of opening, a lack of openness, a lack of vulnerability, basically a lack of being your feminine. You create a buffer, you create a wall. Therefore, that resistance in you can attract that resistance on the outside. And it's like you start to just attract with your senses, with your body, or from a place of fear within you that attracts that fear back. But when you have a willingness to open up spiritually, and this is a place where a lot of people get confused, like, Nicole, how I do it, it's totally fine. Like, I can help you with that. It's just not a, like, it's something that takes time. It takes months. It can take years. The thing is that you have to see how this is affecting you, because when you these survival energies get in the way for you, meaning like a need to compete with other women, a need to feel superior, a need to have the attention of men, a need to be a woman in power, like, oh, I have this man by my side. Those are some of the energies there. Or have such a need to protect myself that you're not open. Okay, you're not open. So in order for you to attract your divine masculine, you have to be open. You have to do your work. And you have to do it with a humble heart. And all of the aspects that I just mentioned just now, if you stick by them, they demonstrate a lack of humility. A lack of you connecting with your soul, with your higher self, with your spiritual self, and being like, you know what? This is not just about me. I want to learn how to love another human being. And I want to learn how to love them right. If I want to attract the divine masculine, right? If you're talking about the divine masculine, like a leader type of energy, a man that is going to be there to protect you, to provide for you, to care for you. Are you willing to surrender? Are you willing to open up? Are you willing to trust that? How does a woman, right, in her divine feminine learn how to trust that when she still wants to keep these fears around the masculine? How do you really truly open up? And for many women, it's like, how do I open up to the masculine when I'm seeing all these other different things out there? Yes, there's fear-based people, both in the feminine and in the masculine. And at the same time, there's kind of like God people, people that are empowered, both in the feminine and in the masculine. But how does the feminine truly open up and start to bring in trustworthy manifestations to herself and in her life? Especially when it comes to love, she needs to first rely on the awareness that life is trustworthy. God, life, the universe is trustworthy. And she needs, because the feminine is in a relationship-based energy. That's the thing. We are relational. Like we are all about relationships and community, right? We're all about that vulnerability. So if we feel like we need to put an armor, or if we feel like we're better than other people, or we need to seek to be better than other people, then we do not have the goal to be a masters in relationship. If our inner goal is one of, I need to be better than you. And this is huge. And we can all learn this really innocently as kids, but here's where maturity and responsibility comes in. When you are an adult and you already see how these fears or these places of immaturity get in the way of your relationships, or when you lose a relationship, you lose a marriage, or something like that happens, we need to look at it. We need to really look at it. But we not only need to look at it, we need to heal that. And in order for the feminine to be more centered, to be more at peace, we need to understand that our goals or intentions need to be different. They need to be like wholesome. You want to really open up your heart to learn how to love another human being. You want to start learning how to be at peace with your worth, to not try to have to compete with other women and understand your sovereignty as the goddess that you really are, and understand the enoughness that is within you. So the first step is that you got to start opening up your energy, trusting the divine masculine in the form of spirit, in the form of God, in the form of life. So if you have a need to be right because you're still in fear, you're still in survival energy, you're still not fully trusting or opening up even to the divine masculine in the form of spirit, in the form of God, in the form of life. It comes with an awareness to at least to first and primary, like oh my gosh, my words today already, but like for the like in a like a priority, understand that life is safe, life is trustworthy, and we need to have a like it's so important to me. Like I've had to learn how to trust life, God, the universe, and I get to learn that even like every single day, and I work at this. And the more I started to work at it, the more I started to develop and attract trustworthy manifestations. And, you know, it's very interesting because a lot of people, I grew up with such a lack of love in my family. Lack of love. Like I felt invisible, not seen. My parents weren't even like together, but they were there. So that when somebody told me, Nicole, you need to work on your love life so that you don't repeat the same patterns that your parents did, I was just in. I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm also blessed in the fact that my dad, before he passed away, told me, Nicole, because he used to feel me get so overwhelmed doing like even tasks at school. And he said to me, Nicole, when you need to do something, you just do it. And I realized in that moment when he said, it's not personal. If you need to do something, you just do it. And the biggest gap that I see that I get in a lot of women doing their work, but being surrendered in it and being humble about it and just dedicated or devoted to their embodiment of their feminine is ego, right? It's taking things personal. It's getting defensive. It's keeping up with these energies of I need to be right. I need to be in power. I need to control. I need to do this. I need to be better. And those are all survival energies that have to do with your growing up and your need to defend yourself. You need to prove yourself. And those energies are destroying what you attract in your love life. They're either destroying your chances with people that are good, or the energy is so sensitive that you keep attracting what you fear. So a lot of women tell me, Nicole, I have a lot of intuition. Yes, but do you know what intuition is? It means to hold a really key and high vibe, trustworthy energy. And in order for you to have a complete trustworthy energy that is not mixed with defensiveness or a need to be right, is a humility and a desire to open up your energy to really understand the truth of things. When I started to learn about manifestations, and I have to say this because it's like on one minute I see women that are like, I'm so in, Nicole. And then when something that I just mentioned gets triggered, they can be a little bit ambivalent. Now, I'm not talking about that woman because, you know, my ideal client and the woman that I work with, she is open. She is open. Just like I am. And I tried and I strive to be like in all places to be open. to be my feminine energy. But this is the moment where you really realize where somebody's really ready to do this work or not, right? Their survival energies get in the way. How does a woman manifest things? Well, if she's really in her power, she is connecting with life, she's connecting with the universe, she's connecting with God, she's open to the guidance, she does the work with a really open heart, like a servant heart. Like, it's just, like, I say to myself, like, I am a servant of love, like, I'm gonna serve the frequency of love, right? I have no space in my heart not to love. And that doesn't mean that I'm like, it's like, it can be challenging, but I understand that the only challenge is my ego. And I seek that clarity. I seek that enlightenment. I just seek it. Like, enlightenment, I'm not talking, you know what I'm saying? It's just a clarity to embody more light in my being, right? Because I don't want to be contaminated by dark energies, unconsciousness. I just don't want to, because I actually see the damage that it does in my relationships, and the damage that it does for myself. I don't seek it. So, and I speak in such a way because a lot of people don't like it, but I don't really care. I have to not care because for me, attracting love is actually like the most serious thing there is. So you want to really ask yourself, why do I want love? Do I want love to just feel good about myself? Or do I want love because I know that I need it, I want it, and I also want to deepen and expand my capacity to love another human being? And that is huge. So this is what I wanted to really bring up today, because it's time that we are real. And I just want to say it's your fear. It's that survival fear in you, a need to control, a need to look for fame, because that's what one of the faulty things that we learned as a feminine is. Like, we're looking for fame, we're looking for power, we're looking for a man to be next to us, like next to our shoulder, to feel powerful and better. Like, I kid you not, you're always co-creating with life, you're always co-creating with the universe. And if you're looking for fame, that's like, you're attracting, in many cases, I see a lot of people who are looking for fame and all those things. They attract a lot of narcissists, because they're looking for, some of them care, like, they want the man for how the man is going to make them look. But that's not all people. There are other women who want great love. They really want it, but like, that energy that they learned as kids made them think, oh, if I look for a man that is better positioned, then I'm gonna be safe, and I'm gonna be met, and I'm gonna be loved, and I'm gonna be recognized finally. But it's coming from a confused, lost, or unconscious or innocent place within you. It's coming from your inner child. But why is your inner child leading your love life? Okay? You need to develop like a maturity. Like, it's all about maturity and a connection with your soul. So I was saying before I complete this message, I was talking about my manifestations, right? And as I was saying, it's like, first thing I want to manifest is like, oh, I want to manifest a parking space, right? We all start that way. It's like a thought, and you feel good, you manifested it. Then you start opening up your kind of like sexual energies, your sacral chakra and all those places, and you want to manifest attraction, and you get it, but then it's not lasting. Why is it not sticking? Then I started to manifest with my mind. I started to do a lot of meditations, and I wanted to manifest certain things, but I would manifest it, but there was still like a longing within me, a clarity. And it's because from a very early age, I learned that I wasn't really worthy, and I was seeing that everywhere, but that was never the truth. That was a lie. And a lot of us, because that frequency is a lie, a lot of us start to like kind of like imprint energies of lies. We lie to ourselves. We don't want to admit things to ourselves. And that's why the feminine is constantly going like this all of the time. 1 minute you know you're worthy, 1 minute you don't know, 1 minute you know, 1 minute you don't know. Don't you want to be certain, okay, that is not your fault. That is how how society has taught us the feminine in survival form. And we're grateful enough to live in a consciousness right now where we are all waking up, right? But the thing is that it's our responsibility, and it needs to be a felt responsibility and not like a designated responsibility. As I was reading in an article, it's like a felt responsibility. I'm going to try to find like the writer, the person who wrote the article and put it in the description below. I'm going to put the description below, the link there, because it's like you got to take things as your own. This is my responsibility. Like, my mom is not at fault. What I learned is not at fault. We're all kind of like walking blindly in an energy where it's making us seek external things and power rather than really open up as a soul or open up our energies to love other people. To love another human being, that requires guts. It requires guts. It requires your disposition to do that. And it requires to attract a person as well who wants to do it. Now, there was still like something missing within me. And it's like the engineer in me loved like the meditations and all of that. But you know what needed to click as a feminine woman to embody peace and certainty? Was actually really knowing and opening up myself to life, to the universe, to God, to my angels. And understand really and truly that at the highest level, I was protected. I am protected. I am provided for. And I am in relationship to something greater, right? Like, I am part of that something greater. And because I'm feminine, I'm always in a relationship to it and receiving from it. But if I didn't really grasp that, and if I didn't embody that, I had to start developing my own relationship with my angels, with life, the universe. And I started to see that we all have angels. We all have a support system. As women, as beings, as men, as anything, like as everything, like we all have a support system. But I realized that that support system is certain. I started to see, like I said at the beginning of the video, that when I inhale, I'm going to exhale. And I'm going to give and I'm going to receive. But the gap here is, because all of this sounds really lovely, is first clearing all of the fear and the resistance that you can have in your body, in your being, like I said, the sexual energy, the lower chakras, your heart, your mind, and what you feel like is going to expect, like all of that recollected data that you have from has happened, that clears up this space for you to really start to know the truth. I'm getting this message like, if your angels want to check you, they can, and you know how to receive it. Because many times what happens with the feminine is that we lie to ourselves, because there's all these survival energies mixed in between, like, oh, but I need this relationship to look good. No, I need this relationship to survive. No, I need this relationship to feel safe. No, I need this relationship to have power. No, you know what? I'm too scared of the masculine. All of those things, you're scared of what's going to happen in your reality, or what happened to your parents. Scared energy, fear, that's lack of trust. It's like, but it's not a judgmental thing. What I'm trying to say is, fear is clouding your judgment. Fear is keeping you in survival energy, even though you're super successful. Fear is keeping you seeking or having a certain level of success, but not having the romantic partner that you desire. Fear, fear, fear. And then you say, no, but I'm an intuitive person. Yes, there are moments when you're more calm and you like more intuitive, but then wouldn't you want to be more intuitive? Where you can actually open up your energy so much that you receive the masculine, that you can hear clear feedback and guidance from your life, from your source, from your angels. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but what I'm saying is, this does require your presence. And there are moments where I hear you're going to get bratty, but it's good. Like, I've been there. I've complained. Because one of the ways in which we learn as a feminine in survival way is to complain to get something. But that complaining energy, if you're not moving, I hear if you're not moving your butt and you're not doing the work, then what's up? If you're not dedicated to it. I had to dedicate my life to this. But I'm not saying that you have to. I'm just bringing up the clarity of what's actually getting in the way of you attracting your divine partner. Because like, for example, there's people like me, like whatever, like whoever you trust, right? But I have helped my clients attract their divine partner like in the space of months or in the space of like a year or something. But guess what? A lot of my clients continue to work with me because it's their responsibility. They want to have that deeper clarity. We work on opening up their energy so that they're more open. They work on their energy and embodying trustworthy, calm, present, peaceful feminine energy so that they're not shaking from the inside or doubting, and they embody that space of well-being. And then we also work on them attracting their divine masculine, learning how, opening up their hearts to being with another person and a different energy than them, right? That does, it's like feminine power. While we know a lot of great things about feminine power, we also need to learn the art of surrendering and being humble and opening up our heart, and knowing when to be led by life and trusting that and allowing and surrendering. But the best way to do this, in my opinion, like, for a long lasting manifestation, is clearing up your energy first. You know that I help you release blocks, energetic blocks from all levels. There's another training that I've done where I spoke about how there's different levels to clearing. That is not just on a mental level. It could be nervous system. It could be your chakras. It could be your heart. It could be at a spiritual level. It could be karma. There's many angles to this. Now, a lot of people want a quick and easy fix to love, and there is. There really is. It just requires on aligning to having a trustworthy energy at a mental, at an emotional, at a physical, and a spiritual. This is one of the most important pieces to this. And I know that it might make you feel, but how do I do that? Because maybe you're used to doing things on your own, which is fine. I mean, you can, but there are other ways in which you can learn to like allow yourself to receive support. So support is really, really key here. The more you clear your energy and the more your heart and your soul wants that clarity, that energy of love in your life, and I mean love in general, love for yourself, love, and you want to embody more love, the more you're willing, just find trustworthy people to work with. People who make you feel good. Even when they call you out, that comes from a place of love. But you, as a woman, you gotta be okay with that, and having another person there. One last thing that I want to say that I feel gets in the way is one of the faulty energies that I notice in the feminine is the belief that a lot of women don't feel comfortable receiving from another woman. Because it brings up their shadow and they start questioning like the worth of a woman, if they should receive, because they have this sort of weird relationship with their mom where their mom didn't allow them to be. So in that survival energy, a lot of women don't even like taking a step forward because they feel like they need to be perfect before they take a step forward. They need to have it all together. And that energy, gets in the way, like, can affect the type of person that you attract as well, because you're not letting yourself be free. You don't feel like you're going to be accepted. You're in competition with other women still, and that energy makes you more masculine and it gets in the way of you attract. But here's the thing, the feminine is an energy of relationship, right? And even if you're a leader, which I know that you are, like, we're all leaders in our life. Even if you're a leader, how do I say this? It's like, you also have to be confident in yourself to be on the receiving end, to be a student as well, without feeling like that makes you not feel good enough. That's like a sensitivity. Oh, I love it. I'm glad that you're connecting with it. I tend to read better from afar, so that's why I went like, whoa, what's that? A lot of women tend to need to be in a place of power because they're not comfortable with receiving, because they feel like receiving from another woman or receiving from another man makes them feel not good enough. But if that energy is sensitive in you, can you see how you get in the way of attracting your divine masculine? Because even receiving from him makes you feel small. Receiving from another woman, receiving from a coach can activate so many things. Like, that has happened to me in the past. And I've had to check myself, because as soon as a thought comes up, instead of saying, oh, it's this person, I'm like, no. That's a part of my feminine that I need to work on. To see the goodness, to see the worth in another human being. And that is, I just want to say, it's like it all comes with such level of responsibility. When you're not being responsible, you will blame, you will shame, you will condemn, because all of those things are within the consciousness of the feminine, even in the masculine. But as a soul, if you're seeking mastery as a soul, you're looking to deepen your capacity to love another human being. It starts with taking responsibility and understanding, hey, none of this is my fault. Like, I've been bombarded with all this like kind of crappy energy. I heard shitty energy basically, since I was like 0 years old, right? I've been bombarded with all of this energy for so long. I am grateful that I get to be alive to start changing this. And it enriches your life. It enriches your relationships. Because your ego is the only thing that gets in the way of you saying, I'm sorry. Because the identity is so fragile. The awareness that you're good enough, that you are more than enough, that you are worthy, it stops you from being in relationship with others, and it just looks like a need to be right, but nobody's perfect. So it's important to release that need to be perfect that gets you to stop, that gets you to not move forward, that gets you to criticize, right? That keeps you alone, basically. So what I'm saying is, yes, I understand that as a woman, what I'm saying, open up your energy. And you're like, Nicole, but to whom? Like, who do I open up my energy to? Well, my first step of recommendation is to work on your intuition. It's important to clear your survival energies. And I do this a lot with my clients in my Goddess of Love program first. We start with this. Like, I have 2 levels of Goddess of Love. The first level, and then we have the mastery. In the first level, and each program is 7 to 8 months long. So the first level, we work on building your intuition and clearing up your survival tendencies. And it's where it requires humility on your end and an open heart. Because it requires humility because it's like, you want to be able to see that these energies that are within you without feeling at fault, without blaming yourself, and understanding that they're just part of the survival psyche of the feminine, okay? We all have them in some sort of shape or form. Now, do you want out? So we start working on releasing those energies. You start feeling better in your energy. Then you can start to assess truth better. Then you can start playing with a higher energy up with your angels, with the universe, and understanding that you're at play. You can ask for something and you're going to get it. Your come from in which you ask for things is going to be different. So I'm not sure if I have low battery. I could have, but you start first with give me 1 second. I'm going to try to do this. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to try to do this in the best way possible. Okay, I'm here. I'm going to try to do this in the best way possible. So give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. Oh, why am I not seeing this? Okay, perfect. So we work on your intuition, but we need to be willing to look at ourselves kind of like, it's like, it's kind of like you're naked with yourself. You're willing to look at it all, but you're willing to clear up all that survival gunk that's in your energy, right? So that you can deepen, like open up your heart energy more. And you can open up your consciousness of your awareness and opening up your soul, like, in the sense of like, I want love. And that's all I want to do. And I'm committed to have it. When you are ready to be in that space, then all bets are off. And we work on that first. And then you start developing all this other consciousness of attracting with your sexual energy and all those things. And that's how you keep like trustworthy manifestations. Then we open up to the energy of the divine masculine. Really understanding it, attracting it, feeling safe around it, knowing that it's there to protect you. But you first have to open up to that awareness when it comes to source first, right? That you are safe, that you can open up, that you can hear a message, that you can receive it without it attacking a place within you that feels fragile. How about we don't feel fragile in that space anymore, and we understand that we are safe, that we are meant to be protected, that we are the gift as the feminine, right? So we start with that. And then when a lot of my clients have already manifested their partner, we go deeper into that energy, into that awareness, and how to cultivate that within your relationship. It's a beautiful work. It's a beautiful work. But like as women, we really need to understand that intuition and survival tendencies are not the same. Intuition comes from a key place of trust within your being, within your soul, but also key place of trust in the universe. And or survival energies can get in the way of our intuition. Therefore, it can get in the way of our real motives, why we are attracting certain things. And it can get in the way of us really like picking up on the energy of who's the right person or not. Okay, so ladies, I wanted to bring this up because I saw this image today of kind of like a sensitive nerve or an overstimulated nerve, right? Attracting from your sexual energy. While, it's kind of like, oh, you can attract something momentarily, but how about you have a keyhole energy about who you are as a soul, mind, body, and spirit, right? You don't have to be kind of like frantically try to figure out how you can get your sexual energy in the right place to attract, or then how to, learn this other manifestation technique. These are all doing things. But your feminine being should be enough to attract everything that you want when you really master trust and a real opening to the divine masculine in your entire being. There's a big difference. It's a way of being versus doing, which is masculine, which means that you haven't fully integrated something. And it's okay. We're all in a journey. And I'm sure you're going to do this. And I just wanted to bring up this message for you because it's key and it's essential to know the truth. This is a certain message that a lot of people just, they don't want to listen to it because it makes them feel a certain way. But it's your life. So this kind of like a true bomb today. I normally don't speak this way, but it's something that actually upsets me. I'm like, it upsets me when people think that just attracting love is all about like looking good or something like that. Like, we want to disconnect from the survival frequencies of the feminine that are hurtful, that are harmful to you. Okay? It's like we're overstimulated with those pursuits all around us. And it's important to quiet it all down so that you can hear the voice of your soul. And you can start to really integrate the peace and the awareness of who you really are. And it wasn't until I started to really integrate the awareness of my angels, building an intimate relationship with them. And my relationship with my angels is my relationship with the angels. For you, can be different with life, with the universe. It shows up in the way that it works best for you. But I know that I wanted it. And I know that I knew that I needed it because in my soul, I never wanted to be confused. I did not want to be manipulated. I could just see how there were so many different agendas going on at play. And I was like, look, I want to have quality in my life. So it doesn't have to look that way, that you have to talk with your angels, but it's all about clarity, or you can, connect with nature, but have clear energy. It's important as a woman to have clear energy so that you don't get in your own way and people don't manipulate you. Okay. Like, intuition is important. And it requires openness. It requires stability within our being and the awareness of who we really are, and that our needs are going to be met. So, I know this is all easier said than done. But if you want to work on it, and if you want to, take it that next step and attract your partner, I promise you your partner is going to come in because your energy is going to be more open, and it can happen within months. It can happen within a year or so. But it's up to you. It's up to you. I remember the moment where I realized that I had to be devoted to this. It wasn't just about a relationship, right? It was my life. I didn't want to be mentally manipulated by whatever, like the Matrix or something like that. I just wanted to be at peace, and I wanted to be my real power. And my real power as a woman comes from understanding that I'm in relationship with life, and that my motives and the purity of my requests and my willingness to embody that request is what leads me to what I really want, nothing else. So, yeah. That's my message for today. If you have any sort of questions, let me know. I've spoken for almost an hour, which is good. If you like, and if this really made a difference for you, I invite you to share this with your friends, your audience, etc. Because I've been having some issues with YouTube lately. So if you can really help me out, I would really appreciate it. My messages have not been, reaching out to the places where, it's been originally meant to. And I hope that this made a difference for you. Okay. If you have any questions, I'm here. I'm going to be here. Let me know if you have any sort of questions. I know that somebody at least connected with it because she commented. Oh, let's see. I'm not seeing the comment, but I know that I saw it in the moment. What is that? Okay. Yes, I saw it. Somebody really liked it. More than welcome. If you have any comments or questions, I know I set something really high level, so now would be a good time for you to ask any questions. Like for me, this was something that was kind of channeled right now. So I know that I can go deeper with this. I've been having so many issues. Like I've been receiving such an influx of energy and information that I feel like I've had like some really wonky situations with the internet, with everything lately, with YouTube. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go live. Like this energy needs to come out. And this is something that where you really see if somebody's ready. There are some people that are gonna listen to this and they might not be ready. But then there are other people that will listen to it and will be ready. They will be like, this is a message that I've been looking for all my life. Like, you have the power. And I'm not saying that in order for you to manifest like your partner, you have to be in a space or in an enlightened space where it's like, I already know that I'm the queen, I'm the prize, I'm the goddess, and you're totally clear on that. No, that doesn't need to happen. But if your heart's in the right place and you're committed and you're devoted to it, and you do enough work, your man is going to show up. Your divine masculine is going to show up. Now, then it's up to you to continue doing the work. A little trap that occurs is a lot of times when the man is there, some women want to stop doing their work. Why? Why would you stop doing the work that gives you more love in your life? As a soul, like we all want to expand and grow. So as long as you keep doing your work, you're committed, you're devoted to it, and you're open to learn, you're open, willing to listen, you're willing to embody. And understand that being in a receiving position does not take away from your worth, but actually enhances it, even when it comes to learning. I was saying this in another video where it's like, I keep saying where it's like, I don't even know what that means, but the thing is that when we had to learn how to tie our laces, we were not like, I should know how to tie my laces. I don't need that. We were excited to learn. We were receiving. Therefore, we got what we wanted as kids. So that part of you that gets like, but why should I do it? That part of you that feels sort of tired. That part of you that feels sort of depleted. That part of you that feels sort of doubtful. These are all survival energies because you've been coping with ideas that are not the truth, that are lies within your being that tire you out. Energies of survival are not the truth, and they're not helping you. So those energies where it keeps you at a distance from your divine masculine, you know why. So are you willing to have your divine relationship is what I'm going to say. And I believe in you, and I know that you can do it. I know that the area of love, it's not complicated, but don't stay in an energy of confusion. If you're listening to this and you're feeling confused, just know that that's your coping mechanism. A lot of women have like the most common coping mechanism that I hear from a lot of my clients is, I don't know. I don't know, literally. Like they say, I don't know, or they stay confused. But there's fear there. There's a part of you that wants to stay where you're at. The feminine needs to feel safe to open up and to move forward. But you are safe, and that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I want you to embody truly and really. The awareness that you are safe so that you can blissfully attract everything that you want. That awareness that you're not, or that lie keeps you like this, yo-yoing. So you are safe, ladies. I would love to support you. I would love to be there with you. And as I said, I normally don't talk this way, but it's something that needed to come out this way, you know? It's something that I just don't sugarcoat on because I believe in you. And then this is also like my test to see who is ready. And if you're not ready, you're not ready, and that's okay. That's okay. There's no wronging there. But if you're ready, you know that I can help you. If you're ready, you know that time is ticking and you don't want to get in your own path. This awareness, I'm going to leave it in a couple minutes, ladies, but I just want to say this. This awareness where you take things personal about not being good enough and getting help makes you feel like you're not good enough or something like that is the most toxic idea there is that plays against your femininity, period. There are people, and this is not everybody, but there are people who show up. I'm going to show you this beautiful rose quartz that I have here. There are people who need to prove that they're good enough by trying to be this sort of masculine woman who gets it done and who's sort of like a leader and a manager and a director. She's like the leader position, right? You're like, I'm strong. It's masculine, right? That need to prove that create such a wall where it's like an impermeable wall where you're not allowing real intimacy to occur. It's like, I'm not gonna use like a that sort of energy here in the call, but it's like I was gonna make us like an energy referring to intimacy. So that energy there keeps you in a fighting state rather than in a receiving state. Rather in the peace and awareness that you are good enough already, and that it is okay for you to learn and it is okay for you to receive, and that it's more than good. Like I said, I can be a leader and I'm also a student. I can't show up as a leader in all places in my life, especially when we've been sold so much crap. I'm not gonna say that word, but I'm gonna say it. It's like we've been sold so much shit when it comes to love. You know, so much of it. Compete. Don't show your vulnerability. You have to keep your mystery. You have to do this. Survival, survival, survival. And like I said, when we were learning how to tie or laces, there was no story there. There was no bullying there. So how are we responding to bullying by not letting ourselves receive? So I've seen a lot of people where they're like, well, I don't need this. Or they're fearful of receiving it because of what their friends are going to think if they get help. And I'm like, look, it's your life. We're all not born with the same conditions when it comes to love. Like I said, I grew up in a complete state where there was no love whatsoever. When you have enough energy of love in your being, trustworthy energy of love, it's a lot easier for you to attract love. And that's what I'm saying. So whether you grew up with no love whatsoever or you grew up with enough, there is no shame. And shame is what governs a lot of the psyche of the feminine, unfortunately. Instead of self-love, there is no shame in you learning more. There's only joy in it. And that's key. That's huge. That's something that it's important to look at. Because shame is what stops you from receiving help, from helping yourself. But that's your ego gripping you, keeping you stuck. But it's like, instead of feeling shame and instead of reaching out, for example, if you wanted to work with me or do Goddess of Love, instead of doing it because of shame, do it because of love. Because when you love yourself, you will do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter how people look at you. Those people that look at you funny are the people that actually, need help. But they're not willing to get it. They're letting shame grip them. And they're being loud about it. They're being bullies. But are you going to let yourself be bullied, or are you going to shoot yourself? Because I've seen so many people who are like in such a state of stress. They let shame stop them from doing their work until it's the last minute, until they almost have no hope. I've seen it all. I've seen women who I've worked over the years with a lot of women who want to have babies and who feel stressed and, trapped by time. And I'm like, look, let's focus on this. You want it, let's work on it, period. Right? Like, it's going to happen. I just wish that more people could start sooner and not let shame grip them in any shape or form. And that's my wish. I'm almost about to start crying, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to keep it this way. And ladies, I hope that you enjoyed this message. For those of you who are just starting, you feel free to start over the message. It's a long video, but it's worth it. And I'm going to put the link below if you're interested in knowing more about Goddess of Love. It's so rewarding. So many of my clients have attracted like love, their divine partner, more money, like races, all of it. Because your energy becomes more trustworthy, more open to receive, just naturally by being who you are. You're more open to play, to receive, to be protected, and it's exciting. And it's exciting. Avoidance doesn't get you love. avoidance of your emotions and what's there. Don't be scared of it. You know, no matter what your mind tells you, no matter what an energy tells you, I promise you it's not true. What we were going to work on within the first months is releasing those grips. So you can start trusting, you can start relaxing, you can start being more rooted in that awareness. And because you're more rooted, you're more trusting in your body, you attract more of that trustworthy energy in return in men. And the right men get to see you. So, ladies, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me today. I don't think anybody has any questions, but if you do, let me know and I'll be checking in on them, okay? Does anybody want to say something? Do you want to say where you got the most from this video before we end? Or I can wait a couple seconds if you want to share what's the most important thing that you got. And take it. Just take this. It just requires maturity. And for some reason, there's a study that says that a lot of people are moved by pain. Why? Why is it that that happens? Wouldn't it be awesome if we were to be moved more by love? More people, you know? All right, ladies. I think somebody wants to say something. Like something is telling me like, Nicole, don't end this. Somebody's going to say something. So let's see. I'm going to wait a couple more seconds. And if not, ladies, thank you so much. I just need to let this out. And let me know if you want me to clarify this in another way or something like that. And at the same time, if you're interested in Goddess of Love, I'm going to put the link below in a couple minutes for you to have a call with me. It's a free call, an exploration call, where I will show you, we will talk about your vision, where you want to go, why you feel like it's stopping you, and then I want to share with you what I'm seeing, kind of like a small overview, and share with you what I'm noticing and how I can help you. If I believe somebody else can help you, I'll lead you to that person. The thing is that you get to have love this year. That's the most important thing. All right, ladies, I'm going to leave now, but please share this with your friends, and more people get to know more about this, So take care. I'm trying to see how can I stop this video. I'm trying to learn how to do this. Yes.